Good afternoon, everyone. Let us start our class today. Let me move to the PowerPoint. We need to consider the arena case study that we discussed in the other unit or unit 4. We were here, we said that this is what we mean by the league owner create tournaments. That means we're going to use the use case organized tournaments. Organized tournaments going to include process application that need to be submitted by the player, and start the tournament, archive tournament, and announce for the tournament. Once announced for the tournament, these three actors need to be identified, and then they can do some other work, like when the player get notified, the player can play a match. All right, so now this is here the given use case description. You need to assume that this is just given to you. You don't need to worry how to create this. It's about 14 steps between the system and the actor. And here the actor is simply the league owner. And here I'm just give you the flow of events of this use case. So the use case says here, the league owner requests the creation of tournaments from the system, and then the system check if the league owner has exceeded the number of tournaments in the league or in the arena. If not, the system presents the league owner with a form. The league owner specifies the name of the tournament, application start and end date during which players can play the tournament, start and end date of conducting the tournament, and the maximum number of players. The system asks so once the league owner submit this information, the system will ask the league owner whether an exclusive sponsorship would be sought, and if yes, present a list of advertisers who express the desire to be exclusive sponsors. If the system shows the list of these advertisers, if the league owner decides to seek exclusive sponsor, he selects or she selects a subset of the names shown in front of him or her. The system notifies the selected sponsors about the upcoming tournament and the flat fee for exclusive sponsorship. The system communicates their answers to the league owners. If there are interested sponsors, the league owners select one of them. That means the system is going to communicate to the advertisers, one or more, and then going to let the league owner how many they are interested to do exclusive sponsorship, and then the league owner will go and select only one. And the rest of the use case description, the system records the name of the exclusive sponsor and charges the flat fee for sponsorship to the advertiser account. From now on, all advertisement banners associated with the tournament are provided by the exclusive sponsor only. If no sponsors were selected, either because no advertisers were interested or the league owner didn't select any, the advertisement banner are selected at random and charged to each advertiser account on per unit basis. Once the sponsorship issue is closed, the system prompts the league owner with the list of group of players. That means once they decide the kind of sponsorship, once the sponsorship use is closed, the system prompts the league owner with a list of group of players. That means there is some players already registered. They go to show them the list of the players, list of the spectators, and list of advertisers that could be interested in the new tournament. Lastly, the league owner selects which group to notify. That means not all the players, not all the spectators, not all the advertisers are going to be notified, depend on the league owner. The league owner select which group to notify. The system creates home page in the arena for the tournaments. This page is used as entry point to the tournament. For example, to provide interested player with the form to apply for the tournament, and to the interested spectator into watching matches. At the application start date, the system notify each interested user by sending them a link to the main tournament page. The player can then apply for tournament with the apply for tournament use case until the application end date. So it's simply try to explain somehow how the system interacts with the league owner to create a tournament. Let us go back to the first one. Now we need to identify entity classes. So we need to do three things. We need to identify entity classes, boundary classes, and control class. So do you still remember what's the first step we need to do in order to identify entity classes from a given use cases? Highlight nouns. First of all, read it and start to recognize nouns. Based on that, I can say now this is here the highlighted nouns from these given 8 steps. Now, after we define the nouns, not all of them are good candidates for entity class. To make sure that it's good candidate for entity class, first of all, you need to make sure it is related to the system requirement. And next, it may save some data that we needed to be stored permanently. This is the two things that you need to keep in mind to filter this out, because this is a huge list of nouns. So what you need to do, we need in each one of these, you need to say it is related to the system. If yes, are going to use it to store information and in permanent basis. If yes, this is a good candidate for entity class. If not, ignore it. So now what do you think? What about league owner? League owner as an actor. Do you need to store information about league owner permanently? Do you need to know the league owner name, the league owner address? The answer is yes. First of all, try to ask yourself about the unique identification of this noun. League owner, yes, we need to, let us say, we give it a number or give it a name. Then yes, this is one good candidate of entity class. What about tournament? So I say that here, based on that, I can say yes, tournaments, good candidates, because we need to, for sure, we need to know what the tournament name, the start date, the end date, the way we calculate the scores. The league is a container of tournaments. Tournament, we cannot have a tournament without a league. We have to have league first. Then from the league, we can create tournaments. Players, for sure, we need to store some information about the players that playing matches, so later on we can determine the winners. List of advertisers. So again, we need to maintain some information about the advertisers, so later on we can chart them, because there is no free advertisement here. It should be with a charge. So we need to know how to contact them, send them at least the invoice. What about arena? Don't forget, it is the system itself. It's not part of the system. League owner is part of the system. League is part of the system. Tournament is part of the system. Arena is the system itself. Don't confuse yourself by this. When you have here the name of the project or the name of the application, don't consider that you need to create an entity for its entity class, because you assume that this is the database of the system. No, it's not. So it's the system itself. All right, so now here in the rest of the use case description, I also identify these nouns. Do we need to store some information about accounts? The advertiser need to check their balance. That means this information should be stored somewhere in the system, so that at any point of time, the advertiser can say whether they have enough balance to sponsor more, or they need to pay, or something like that. So based on that, we can say we need an entity class for advertiser accounts, the advertisement itself. So you need to show something. The advertisement, it's some information need to be shown. And during this tournaments and during in other tournaments, that means once the advertiser creates an account and say that this is the product that I need to advertise during your games, that means we need to store some information about these products, so that they can later on the application read this information and display it. So advertisement itself also good candidate for an entity class. Matches, we need to store the information about the match so that we can create statistics, and also the spectator can replay the match later on. So information about the matches also need to be saved permanently. Wouldn't the spectator be an entity class? Look at this here. I represented by this group. We say that the league owner with a list going to prompt with a list of groups, groups of players, groups of spectators, groups of advertisers. So now not all spectators are going to be notified. Not all the players going to be notified. Not all the advertisers are going to be notified. Subset of these. And we represent them by a group. So I can say here spectator, yes, and I'm going to represent them by a specific group of users. But still, I'm going to consider spectator as an entity, class, players, entity classes, advertisers as well. So this is all good candidate for entity classes. But I'm going to represent them by group of players, group of spectators, and group of advertisers.